everybody. This is Annie and Patrick Furlow with Step by Stage Interiors, and we are here today with Erin Floyd. And we just really want to know Erin's story on how she got into real estate and when she started using staging and kind of how her business has come together since all of this is, since our relationship has started.
Thanks for having me today, Annie and Patrick. So I got into real estate about 2008. I think I was the only agent that joined EBCAR, or the Association of Realtors, and it was supposed to be a part-time gig. I just had my son and just kind of looking to make a couple bucks on the side. I'm a very competitive person, and moving forward, it just snowballed, and I really loved it. My family has a lot of real estate. They're in the sand mining business and had a lot of connections. I'm third generation native here. So anyway, I kind of took off, started on floor duty, and just started talking to people and really loved talking to people. And I've always wanted to do something in my life that helps people, and I feel I've really been put on this earth. God has called me to help people, and I'm using it through real estate to get them the most money or get them the best experience I can. So fast forward, I'm in this 15 years. I sell a lot of real estate now.
And how much do you sell?
So last year I closed 120, did 120 transactions. This year we should close to 150 to 175. So
wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Erin just won a huge award too. Can you tell us a little bit about your award you just won? I know nobody likes to brag about themselves, but
I don't like talking about it because I don't want people to think I'm bragging, but it was a nice award that night to win that, because it was the only night that we can kind of celebrate our successes. But again, I feel like my job here is just to help people and get the most money, protect their equity, or get them out of a problematic situation.
What was your award for?
Gosh, volume and high volume of sales. So we closed, I think, over close to 35 to 40 million in volume last year. Again, we did 120 transactions. So we got, me and my staff, we got into the Legend Society with Coldwell Banker. So it was a really, cool award to win. Some things that have made me successful, getting into coaching. I think anybody that's successful in any kind of business, you need a coach, whether you're Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, any kind of business at all, you need a coach, a life coach, not just for whatever business you're in, but to keep you motivated, especially through what we just went through, the pandemic. Coaching, being a part of coaching and my mastermind group with other fabulous agents across the country, I think keep me a little bit sane, because it was very, very tough. I always say this, that we're on an island by ourselves, and I needed that extra motivation and boost to keep me going. And we actually had the most successful years through the pandemic, and every year since the pandemic, every year actually in my career, the 15 years, has been a record year. So we always try to increase our production by 20%. And we're very streamlined, very organized. We have a person to do the listings. So that coaching teaches you that, to have these systems. So I have myself, I do all the listings. Then I have my buyer's agent, Amanda Plowden, and then we have 3 assistants. So, and then I think another great thing that has happened, that's where y'all come in, is I think we're going in our 2nd year of doing business together. Funny story, I had a stager who I was using, and they did not want to come to Sebring. So one of my photographers suggested y'all, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I was like, okay, I'll give them a shot, because this other person wouldn't come down there. Well, long story short, y'all came down, and I was like, that's it, y'all are hired. They were very professional. They too had a system.
And you were hard on us. I was a little intimidated. So
I was definitely a little nervous. I was like, Erin.
I know. I was like, oh man, she's really paying attention. I gotta nail this with presentation. So.
Well, and what was exciting was you're professionally trained. So I think a lot of women in the industry they start out as hobbies and they're like, oh, I think this will work. No, you were professionally trained, and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
So, and I could tell you knew what you were talking to. And then we went to Sally's deal in Haines City. It was like almost like $1 million listing.
Yeah.
And we had the stager there before you did, another company I was kind of working with. But when I saw your presentation, I was like, we need to have Sally interview you. And I called Sally up and I'm like, listen, I just met this incredible couple. They're very professional. They have a great plan. Would you mind talking to them? And she said, no, not at all. And so Patrick and Annie went down there and met her, and you were a higher price,
Yeah.
but it was awesome. Sally hired you, and we sold it.
Yeah, and we walked her through the entire process as a team, and that's what I love working with our agents that really understand that every transaction has so much pieces that have to perfectly fit together for, you know, the house to get sold at maximum price. And so for us to go in there and help her with paint colors and lighting and the before the staging happens, and really understanding the whole process and you guiding Sally through that process if she felt comfortable with it. I mean, that was our first experience working in that kind of realm, and that worked really well.
And I say in that experience and many other similar experiences where you've had people in multiple like bid situations, you know, from staging companies, you know, you might see one that was a little more expensive and people might have that hesitation. We're like, why is this one so less expensive? Like, what's the difference? Training, skill set, like just a little more uncomfortable. Like I know a lot of times when we hire like vendors for our house, like plumbers or the driveway guys, it's not like the least expensive ones. We kind of are leaning towards the ones that are more professional and have more of a comfort factor
Absolutely.
and trust. And I thought that was important, especially with Sally, because I remember when she was saying, you know, this one was like half price, and I just got real nervous when somebody told me that price. I'm like, you can't possibly stage this like 6,000 square foot house for that cost. She got really apprehensive about wanting to move forward with the competitor, and then when she got a chance to talk to us, she kind of learned a little bit more about
It was a
the
no-brainer
process.
for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I cannot stress this enough. Whatever trade you're hiring, you get what you pay for.
Yes.
So if you think, oh, I'm going to get this cheap contractor, well, you're probably going to have a mess on the end.
Yeah.
On your hands.
You're gonna be fixing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just made me think of something too, because I was thinking about this like all last week with the market that we're in being so hot, and I feel like a lot of things are just flying off the shelf. You get what you pay for goes a long way. So we always kind of advocate for hiring realtors because they're
Yeah.
professionals, they're trained in it, they take so much, you know, off your plate as a homeowner, they know the industry. Why should people still hire agents versus trying to go on their own and for sale by owner this even in today's hot market?
So I get that question a lot, especially when I'm trying to get a for sale by owner to choose me to be their realtor. First of all, the legalities. I mean, that listing contract and the purchase contract, an attorney's write that, so it protects them. Two, the for sale by owners think they're saving that 6% commission by not hiring me. Little do they know that they are losing 12 to 15% by not putting themselves on the open market.
How?
I mean, we put it on the open market and we expose it to the whole world.
Yep.
And so in this market, you're getting a bidding war.
Yeah.
So yes, I understand people want to save that 6%, but how about making an additional 12 to 15%?
Right. And that totally covers the 6%. And
And
you
more.
don't have to worry about the legal aspects of
Not
what
at all.
could go wrong.
Not at all. And I think also when you're hiring a realtor, because there's so many new agents out there, and this is the best market we've ever been in, but it is also the toughest market. So you really need to have somebody that's an expert or a veteran in this market and ask them if you can see what properties they have sold so far. Right now, we are pending and closed 55 year to date.
Wow.
Since January 1.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So if you hire an agent and you ask them to see it on paper because it's there for you. Mm-hmm. It's there. Ask them if you can see what they have sold so far this year. If they sold one or two, there's an issue. There's a problem.
Yeah. It
It's
might
a
be
red flag.
hobbyist, right? Like,
Yeah, it might be a hobby. And I mean, I don't know about you, but $10,000 to $50,000, that's a big difference for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's like a kid's college fund.
Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I like to have more money in my pocket. I'm sure most people do.
So can you tell us a little bit about, because I think this is another misperception that, oh, you know, the market's so hot, realtors just put a sign in the yard, they don't even have to work for their paycheck right now. Because we hear this all the time.
Yeah.
How do you work for your paycheck?
Okay, so I'm very streamlined. I have a very organized process. I meet with a seller, I go and view the property, and then I see what needs to be done or tell them how they can get more money. We're working on a project right now in Winter Haven. I think it's a 3.5,
Yeah.
the pool event. I went there. When I walk through a house now, I'm like, what would Annie do?
Yeah.
So
You did the checklist really good too
Yeah.
before I showed up.
Yeah.
That's what I say to myself too when I'm
Yeah. You're a smart man.
Like what Annie did. Yeah.
So I go in there because the biggest problem we're having right now with contracts is the market's so saturated with purchase contracts is we're having delays with the appraisers because the appraisers are shorthanded in surveys. Surveys is not so much a big deal as appraisers. So I go in there and view the property, make sure there's no wood rot in the door jambs, peeling paint. It doesn't matter. So many agents get hung up on FHA and VA. Listen, guys, there is no difference in a VA, FHA, or conventional. If you have peeling paint, they're going to flag it. If it's a decent appraiser, they're going to flag it in a conventional loan. The only difference in a FHA and VA is the appraiser sticks this up in an attic, takes some pictures, and that's it. Otherwise, it's all the same.
Wow. See, I didn't realize
Yeah, I
that.
don't know.
Yeah. And the new agents don't know it either.
Yeah.
Well, such the importance coaching and mentoring. Like for new agents that might be seeing this video, you know, how important is it to have a veteran or savvy mentor or coach that can guide them through that new
Yeah.
process?
So I credit a lot of my success to being in coaching. I've been in coaching, gosh, since year 3 being into real estate. My old broker introduced me to that particular company. And I drank the Kool-Aid. I don't care if you hire Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, Buffini, stick to one. Don't do all 3 because they're all different 3 models, but stick to one if you like it and stay in it. It really does help.
Well, you can grow so much, even with different, areas of the country. If you have a mentor from like California and they're doing something totally different that hasn't been thought of here, I mean, you're ahead of the game then.
Yeah, I'm part of this mastermind group. There's 10 of us. We have California, Utah, Canada, Washington, D.C., 3 in Florida, 1 in Nashville. So we're seeing what's going on in all the country. And we all, when we have problems, we reach out to each other. So that you really do need a support system because, like I said,
Yeah.
It's going to be a very lonely business if you're a successful agent.
Yeah, and we're very similar. We've been part of continuing education for years now with the Real Estate Staging Association. We have fellow stagers across the country that we work with in Tennessee, in Detroit, Michigan, California, Oregon,
Yeah.
Portland.
We're in a couple masterminds.
We're actually speaking this year at RESACon in July, which is super cool. That would be our first main major speaking engagement, which is fun. But a lot of what we've learned, not just from professional training in a design background and working for builders and an associate's degree, is learning from others that have more experience than us that we can then apply and take back to our clients and to the business model, and that goes a long way in
Yeah.
coaching. Mhm.
And I feel the same way. I learned so much from my other agents across the country. We give new ideas to each other. I probably do the most out of them, but because I'm like Walmart, our prices are pretty cheap here compared
Yes.
to the rest of the country.
Which is still crazy because
But I love that it's nice because when I first got in the business, my average price was $100,000.
Right.
So it's been nice, but we're still, it's still a great market.
yeah,
It's still a great market.
crazy. Okay, so going back to what you do as a realtor for your clients.
Yes.
So we kind of talked about how you prep the house and tell them the conditional items that might need to be addressed before the house goes live. Once you get that listing, then what do you do on the back end for your clients?
Yeah, so I prospect. I know a lot of agents hate to hear that I prospect, but I go door knocking. I talk to other great agents in the area. I call around the house. we promote it on social media. Is huge right now. I have a great
Your social media looks awesome too,
Thank
by
you.
the way. So you put a ton of work into
Thank
that.
you. I use a wonderful company. I will plug them now, Simply Social. Ashley Kretcher, she has taken me to the next level in social media. So I am very, very happy with her. She's amazing. She actually went, again, she's professionally trained, went to college for market media and social media. So, it's not like I've hired a person that doesn't know anything about social media.
Exactly.
She knows. Her sister has actually just joined her, so I feel like I'm getting a great staff
Very good team.
taking care of me, and they're very, very current. And because there's a lot of companies out there that you pay a lot of money and it's just the same post day after day. Mine, I feel, looks like very natural. A lot of people think I'm doing it on my own. There's no way I could do it on my own.
Yep.
But she's very current, and she knows what's going on in the market, and she uses the whole country. She doesn't just do Florida. She can work for anybody across the country.
And that really elevates your brand and your image, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's awesome.
So you do a lot of marketing then for your listings, is what you're saying?
Well,
Through social media.
so everybody, it's funny because a lot of people approach my staff. They don't approach me, and they're like, "What's Erin doing to get business? How's she?"
Yeah.
I don't buy leads, and I don't pay for leads. I think it's they're the hardest people to deal with, and they're a lot of times they're not qualified. So we got to get them qualified. It's just it's a lot of time with the leads if you pay for them. So I did try it once for 6 months, and it was torture. It was absolutely horrible. I know there's a lot of agents. Now I'm not saying like maybe when you first get in the market, that's to
get
start
your clientele built up.
to build up. That's not a bad way to start. But you got to work the system.
Yeah.
It's not, you got to answer the phone right away. And that's another thing. Half the agents out there don't answer the phones. They don't. I've had agents say they don't work on weekends. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. We just experienced that last weekend. We were trying to get a hold of a realtor, and they're like, I'm not available on Sunday, so call me on Monday.
I wish I was.
And it's like, wow, that must be nice. So, so every time that we call Erin, and she is probably the busiest agent that we work with, she always answers her phone. And even if she can't talk, she's like, hey, let me call you back in 5 minutes. So
yeah. So I think
Love that.
if you want to build, your portfolio, answer your phone.
Yep.
It's not rocket science. Answer your phone, or send them a text. Can I call you later? And I tell all my customers that if I don't answer, I send them a quick text. I said that means I'm in the field, because I'm in the field a lot. So, but I will get back to them and lead follow up.
Yeah.
Another thing is once we get the house listed, say if we're using you, we get the professional photography. Agents, please quit using your cell phone for
Yes.
professional photography.
Oh my gosh.
And please do not have yourself in the mirror when taking bathroom pictures.
Oh my gosh. And put the toilet seat down, for
Yes.
God's sakes.
We see it a lot.
Yes. So, we have a great photographer. We use Thomas Lutz out of Lakeland. Him and Jolie,
Thomas.
they're wonderful, and they go everywhere. So we're very happy with him. So then once we go live, we call the customer, hey, you're live. We continue the prospecting. Another thing that we do that a lot of agents don't do, we attend every company, every appointment. We attend every appointment just to make sure, because of the newer agents in our business, we have run across, and we started doing this a few years ago because I got in trouble one day, and it wasn't my fault, but it was a new agent. They had left the garage door open, and they had left the door open to the house.
Oh no.
All the lights were on. Guess who the seller was mad at?
Yeah, the listing agent.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? And it happened a few times. And of course, when I called the realtor, oh, I didn't know I did it, or that wasn't me. Well, yeah, it was, because you're the agent that showed it today.
Yes.
So okay, we're going to switch this model around. So we started attending all our appointments. We attend all appraisals. We attend all inspections. Any kind of appointment, somebody from my staff is there.
That's pretty awesome, because I know a lot of times houses have unique qualities to them as well that you, the listing agent, knows, but the buyer's agent may not know some of those qualities. So if you're there to help guide them through what is unique to that house, that also helps.
Exactly. And some of the agents, If sometimes agents don't like us being there, so we'll just open the house, turn on the lights, we'll go step outside, and then once they leave, we make sure the house is secure. But then sometimes agents like us there if they are newer, and that they haven't looked at the property features. We can say, our goal is to close the transaction. So if we can help the other agent, we are more than happy to do so.
Well, I love too. We've talked a lot, just kind of like venting and being on this little island together, right? But I love that you love real estate because, like you said earlier, you want to help people, and money is just a bonus. Like, yes, we all have to make money in this world,
right?
But because you care so much about your clients, the money comes naturally. And I think that is huge. If money is your top priority, you're probably never going to be successful.
And I've had agents tell me all I care about is money. I'm like, and I don't say anything. I'm like, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I tell my staff, I even think it's kind of voodoo, like jinx it, like do not get your calculators out. Do not, think about how much money you're going to make. Mm-hmm. Do our job, do it good.
Yep.
We will get paid. What I'm looking for in that transaction is for my customers to be happy and say, hey, that Erin Floyd team, they are on it. I got to tell all my friends and family.
Absolutely.
I want to be here the next 20, 30 years, God willing, and I want to be the market leader and helping as many people as I can. So my reputation is the only thing I have.
Yes.
I'm fanatical about it, and I try to give the best service to my customers.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I know that's kind of our motto as well. We have to make money to keep this business running, but I really have a passion for homes. That's what God put me on this planet for. And beautifying spaces so everybody can see it in a different light and in a new light, and making people happy. This is the way I can give back, of just making people see what their American dream is, or what their future could look like. And if we can make money because of that, that's amazing. That's just like the icing on the cake.
Yeah, and referral-based business, we always say is the best business. So there's no better,
exactly.
New client coming from a referral that had a great experience before. And I think that goes a long way in all aspects of business, not just with staging and real estate, but across the world.
Yeah, any business.
Yeah.
It's funny, I always say to Annie, I was like, if everybody just did everything right the first time, everybody would always be happy. But unfortunately, we don't live in that world. And that's just a strong business model to have. And I feel like like-minded individuals work with other like-minded individuals. That's why we work so well together, and a lot of our other agents and our clients as well. But why have such a strong transaction team? Why do you pick the lender or the mortgage firm that you do, or the title company, or us as stagers? Like, what is it about those selections that help you separate yourself from competition, or elevate your brand, or just really make life easier for you?
So my staff makes me look really, really good. I'm so proud of my staff. And then all the vendors that I hire around me, I think are even better than me, and it's very important. So regarding y'all, you're the best tool I have right now, especially walking to a vacant home, and I just look at Amanda, and she goes, Annie.
That's right.
Here's the deal. You spend a few $1,000s to stage. Your return, I've never seen this kind of return. It's like at least 25 to 30,000. Whether it's getting you to that list price or you're going above list price. It's getting you $25 to $30,000 more than you would not. Can you afford not to stage? I don't think so. I will even pay for staging up front. That's how much I believe in y'all. And I've done it a few times.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very risky gamble.
Yep.
But it's got us to the finish line.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting.
So in your experiences with us in like the last year and a half, have you ever had one really not give you the return on investment or the yield that you thought was going to deliver?
Knock on wood, not one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what would you say to other agents that maybe have never used staging before, or might want to do so but just don't really how to approach that with the seller? Like, what would you say to them?
I would tell them, so like for the most recent one, I walked in there, they had a bunch of furniture in there, they were going to sell it. I said, I have a really good idea. So the agent needs to pitch to the seller and be the agent has to believe in you.
Yeah.
It's like the saying, if you know, you know. So that's mine for y'all. If you know, you know. How many stages have we done so far in the past? A lot.
Yeah,
At least,
quite a bit.
what,
Dozens.
30, 20, 30?
Yeah, dozens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot more in the
Yeah.
future already lined up.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I just sell it in a way because I believe in you so much that if they're kind of on the fence, then I say, well, heck, I'll pay for it. You know, as long as, you know, I'll probably increase my commission a little bit because to cover the cost. And they see where I put my money where my mouth is, and it's not a gimmick.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
So for sometimes the people that need a little bit of like a little bit of a push to like move forward and say, let's do this, or for the other ones that are just like on board right away, a combination of like what their reaction is once they've seen the house stage, what is the reaction that you see from your clients, and then also those people that are coming in for showings from buyers?
So I think we call it the reveal day. I would say a high percentage, 9 out of 10 times, they're like, gosh, I don't think I want to sell my house anymore. I'm like, you got to.
Yes,
get that all the time.
don't not yes. These things-
No, and I make sure that their motivation is there, that they do have to sell because, you know, I would hate to get stuck with that bill.
Right.
But you do such a great job, you and Patrick both. Once the reveal happens, they get it.
Yeah.
And then the whole world, and then we do the photography, professional photography, and it's just, it's a lot easier to sell. And then because there's a lot of people said, oh, we'll just leave it vacant, then people can imagine what they're walking into and they can place their items. Most of the market does not have that vision. I do, you do.
Yeah.
Every now and then a customer does.
They say
We had a call
10%.
today where they didn't want to do one of the most important rooms because they thought it was going to be too small. And I'm like, that's exactly why you need staging there.
Exactly.
So your buyers can see it, so we can get you that money.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I see like part of our hobby is like we'll look around Zillow and Redfin and we'll just look for houses that, you know, pop up like just hit the market, like new to list, and ones that have been like back on the market or took a price reduction.
Yeah. Because that's
lot of
what
those-
happens.
yeah,
a lot of
those
people
are vacant.
think, I don't need to do anything because it's a hot market. I'm just going to put the sign in the yard and
Yeah.
it's going to sell because all my friends want to buy it.
I see dozens of houses like
there's
on
a
a weekly
ton
basis that are
that are
vacant that
getting-
have been on the market for like 20, 50, 80 days, like 10,000, 30, 50,000 in price reductions.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just so painful to watch.
so funny story, Amanda and I, we're such nerds. We'll go through MLS or Realtor.com at night and we'll start sending each other listings and we're like, gosh, only if they had Annie and Patrick, or how horrible these pictures
Yeah.
are.
We say the same thing. If they just had a good agent,
Yeah.
they had somebody that, you know, they could trust.
Yeah. So, and actually every now and then we get one of those expired listings and we tell them we want to increase the price. We want to get staging. And they look at us like we have 3 heads. And they're like, no, this is not going to work. I'm like, trust me. I think Amanda and I sell a house every 52 hours. I think it's something
amazing.
crazy like that. That was last year's stats. I haven't figured out what this year's stats are, but we know the market well enough to know what needs to be done to get the most money for our customer. And if it's a vacant home, or in this case that we're doing, I told them to get rid of all their furniture.
Yeah.
And
that does happen a lot too.
and
Quite a bit.
they're gonna actually, and this doesn't happen much, but they are gonna live in one room
Yeah.
that we're not gonna stage. And
They don't have any pets or any kids. or
no,
anything like
no.
that,
So
That's nice.
so it has to be right. It
Yes,
has to be
it
the
has
right
to be the
fit,
right
or I
fit.
would never recommend that.
Right.
Because you have very nice furniture, and we don't want that to get ruined. But we know the market, and so it's so important for the agent that you hire. They know the market.
Exactly.
Speaking of knowing the market, you know, since we've been, or when Annie started this back in 2011, it was a totally different time frame. Like you had in like the 2010s, 11s, and 12s, where there was an influx of houses.
It was a buyer's
not
market.
necessarily enough buyers, and you know, staging was super popular back then as well because they needed something to differentiate their house. So many of the stuff was listed vacant, and it was sitting for forever, which is why staging became a lot more mainstream. I feel in the past decade, especially within the last 5 years. But in the hot market that we're in now, you know, you see that attitude a lot more often where people are like, let's just list it and see what happens. And then sometimes we'll get a lot of phone calls 2 or 3 weeks later. You know, this is not getting the traction I thought it was going to, and they'll bring us in and they'll still stage it and they get the results they want. But I feel like it's really interesting that how staging functions in a buyer's or seller's market. And our main selling point for us back in the 10-year ago time frame was a speed of sale and most return on investment. Speed of sale is still quite fast these days, but it's still almost 90% faster with a staged property. But it's the amount of offers and over asking prices that you typically generate with staging versus maybe if you do not.
So I have agents that will come to me all the time, or Erin, what would you do? What would you do? So I think we have a good example, Stephanie in Babson Park. She hired her sister to do her list her house. Her sister, I think, is from Ellerton or Lakewood Ranch area. And she said, Erin, what do I do? I said, well, you have two choices. You can drop it $20,000, or you can do what I told you from the beginning and hire Annie and Patrick. She's like, you really think that's going to work? You really think that's going to work? I'm like, yeah, it's going to work. So then I had her sister call me. She's like, I've never heard of this idea. I'm like, okay, listen, I'm telling y'all, I just like to help people out.
Yes.
I really do. So I said, call Patrick. Long story short, they hired you. They did not reduce the price at all. And I think it was within that week, they got a $10,000 over list price.
Yeah, I think we staged that one on like a Thursday, and that weekend.
Yep, and I remember that was on
And then she called me crying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. And then her sister's been in touch with me, and she's like, this is just so amazing. I'm like, I told you. Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, and funny story with that one too, and this, I guess, was an omen to happen from the get-go. After we staged the house, and then after Stephanie reached out to us and texted us and said, hey, I'm so grateful, this is amazing, you know, we're going to go for over asking price. It never would have happened without the staging. And I was like, hey, thank Erin, she put us in front of you for that referral-based business. But she found out that we also own a pug, and she had a pug. So
The gold
people,
So now
Pug
we're
people
bonded
connect.
from pugs.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't know a lot about Step by Stage or hasn't seen our work before, the pug is our calling card. So in every house we have a pug staged
I love it.
somewhere in there, and most of the times you got to find it. Sometimes it's easier said than done. Sometimes they're really small, or sometimes it's a large piece of art. But it's a lot of fun to get text messages and like a video walkthrough on a Sunday at 2 o'clock, and it's like, hey, guess where I am? And they show us the pug, and we're like, oh, you must be at so-and-so, you know, showing the house or whatever. But that's a lot of fun. But for both pug people to come together and it worked out that way, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I believe so much in y'all that we just bought an investment property.
Oh, yeah.
And we did sign up to, so we were going to have a rental property. And I was like, I want to get my price, so I'm going to stage it.
Yep.
I did rent it out
Yep.
before, but I was full on going to stage
Absolutely.
it. And people were like, why are you staging it for? I'm like, because I want my price.
Yeah, and that's
So-
another thing that people don't realize too is we do a lot of this in Tampa as well for clients that are just doing long-term rentals. If they have a new client that is or they're up for a new client, they will stage it to get the best price for rentals. It's.
I mean, that's how much I believe in y'all. So I drank the Kool-Aid with y'all.
Oh.
Well, thank you, Erin. It's very nice of you to say. But I mean, this is such a great time to spend together, just to kind of help, the general public just learn more about people that we work with, why we like to showcase them. We just really believe in our realtors,
Yeah.
and we love what they do, and we love what staging does and how it helps the community. It helps sales price, it helps the neighborhood, and it just really gives back in a way so where you just continue to build strong relationships with clients,
Yeah.
with homeowners, and it's just such an impactful thing to have in the community. We thank you for being here and sharing your
Yeah.
experience with us and some of your stories. I want to give a shout out to Christina Needham at Prest
Yes.
here in Lakeland, coffee shop and bookstore. They've been super gracious to let us shoot here for the last few times that we've done this with our realtor clients. So thank you guys for that. And just anything else that you want to say or share to your
No, I
audience?
just want to thank you guys. Just make sure your agents, whoever you hire, that they've been in the business for a while, and that they can show you what they've sold in the area. Yeah, it's been a good ride.
Yes. Well, we're looking forward to this year and seeing where this takes us. And
I think it's going to be our best year ever,
Yeah,
all of
I
us.
think
yeah, I think
That's
so.
right. I'll
too.
knock on some wood.
Not
Yeah.
summer going.
Yes.
So
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, this is Patrick and Annie Furlow with Step by Stage Interiors, Erin Floyd with Coldwell Banker in Winter Haven in Polk County, and
All over Polk County.
all over Polk County.
Highlands.
Yeah, and if we can be of assistance for you, if you ever need anybody to help you in your home sales, obviously contact Erin or give us a call, and we can give you guys some great recommendations. But thanks again for tuning in. We appreciate your time, and we hope you got some value from this video.
Thank you.
bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.